welcome to Conquering Mount Scrabble with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today, by viewer request, numerous of you have requested, you wanted a cat block. So we're going to give them to you in 3 different sizes today, and this is going to be fun, quick, scrappy, and just a blast, right? To play around with your colors and everything else. But first, before we go any further, we have to do a shout out. Angela at 4 a.m. Quilter is having a lot of fun over on her channel. Now, she doesn't know this shout out is coming to her, so it's a surprise between you and me and 25,000 other friends. So go over there, check her out, and if you like what you see over there, you know, hit her subscribe button. Now, that you're going to find her YouTube link in the show notes or the description box below. You're also going to find our Facebook group. Now, we do the typical Facebook stuff, but we also are doing fabric swaps, and we're also doing a virtual sewing room, and it's a very warm, welcoming community, and we're just having a blast over there. So if you're part of the Facebook community, check us out. It's been a lot of fun. Now, the other thing you're going to find in there is the Zoom show notes. And we have those once a month, and they're usually the first Saturday of the month, but the dates are listed, so you can mark it on your calendar. And you bring whatever you want to work on. Don't necessarily bring something I've put out, but you can bring whatever. And you can also bring things like crocheting and knitting if you just want to come hang out. That's, you know, it's an international community, and everybody has fun. Now, the other thing you're going to find in there is the 3 people that I am doing a collaboration with. I am so excited. This is coming like late spring, early summer. So, you know, this is kind of a fun little sew along that we've got worked up. Now, each of us are making a block, and then we're doing a community theme. The theme is community, and we're doing it round robin style. So you got to go check out those other channels. Everybody's getting kind of excited now about it because we're having so much fun putting the blocks together. And now I'm starting to put the rounds together, so I'm really impressed how beautiful they are. Now, the last thing that's not in the show notes is I speak for free. So if your guild or quilting group is looking for a speaker, and I talk about working with scraps and doing community service quilts or charity quilts, right, or quilting for others, I don't know what all the other ones they're called. But yeah, if your group is doing stuff like that, I speak for free. I do it over Zoom. I don't travel to your quilting group. I don't have a trunk show, but I have lots and lots of pictures. So if you want to see what I'm up to, you know, that would be a lot of fun for me to meet you. And I just having a blast with those speaking engagements too. I get to chat with I try and get there early so I can chat with a lot of the quilters that are in that group. So anyways, well, come on in. Let's get to this fun sewing today. Okay, we're at the sewing machine, so we always start with the hardest part first, right? Which, I mean, is not really, there's not a lot of moving parts in this block, but the hardest part would be these flip and stitch corners. Now, I have ironed and folded, so I have a mark as to where this is going to go. So I'm just going to quickly run the hardest parts through. This is not a hard block. And it's a funny story. I was doing this at my guild, and one of the ladies that is a very, very talented woman, she saw what I was putting together, a cat block, and then she's a real a fan of art, so Escher came to her mind, and the next thing you know, she drew two cats that fit together perfectly, and I was tempted to tell her to come on and we'll do a sewing thing with just this, with her idea, but we'll see what she has to say about that. I'll have to ask her first. But yeah, so her, MC Escher is one of these artists that could make things fit together, and it was just amazing. But so anyway, so she drew these 2 cats that just sit perfectly together, and they tessellate. So it's actually really cool. Now, before we get too far into the sewing here, okay, we're going to do, first off, we're going to do these to see whether or not this fits. Now, I could have, okay, this fits perfectly, so I'm just going to trim it. You can move the head to the other side, just because, you know, the head is set up one way. So if I wouldn't have put this down already, right? You could have moved the head to this side, right? And kind of, you know, moved it, let's say like that, and then had the ears here, right? I mean, when you, oh, the ears are this way, the ears here, right? So it's up to you which way you want your cat facing, left or you want them facing right. So just make sure that all goes back together the right way. And now we check this. I wanted you guys to know that because sometimes, you know, we go through these lessons sometimes pretty quickly and it's like, wow, how many people have I lost, you know? And I sit back, oh, you know, if they're lost, they can watch the video again or they can ask questions. I mean, it's, you know, not a problem. Okay, so now we have all the hard parts are done. So we're going to change feet and I'm going to put my 1/4 inch foot on. I love this 1/4 inch foot. I got this off of Amazon. My husband bought it for me off of Amazon. And it's for slant shank because I'm a 301A. But the universal feet, I mean, are just nice to work with. I was very impressed with this. So, now, and of course it's not a video without me changing my feet at least a couple of times. So how this goes together is you have to sew these two parts together first. Now I sew them this way so I can make sure that the seams are all going the right way. They're going to lay the right way because I'm pressing to the dark. Gee, I love this Jen Kingwell fabric. Oh my gosh. I'm so lucky to score some of it. Okay. And run the plugs through. I guess I can ram the half square triangles through. Okay. So now I'm going to press this way. Again to the dark. Because I don't want that red peeking through. Okay. So the next one is this. And I'm going to sew it so they can see. Instead of using the plug this time, I think I'm going to use one of these half-square triangles. I have them collecting now on my cutting table to be trimmed up. But that's okay. There we go. And I might as well sew another one through while I'm here. And another one. Okay, now we're going to open this and we're going to fold it in. Okay, just like that. We're going to fold it against the seam just because we're printing to the dark side. So this seam is going that way. This one here that we just sewn. Now, once it's ironed, it'll lie really flat. Okay, now I'm going to go this way. And they come together, these blocks, wow, I can't believe how fast they come together. Like I did the quilt that's behind me in the, you know, like in the first shot and the last shot. I did it, I think it was a weekend, over a weekend. It took longer to cut out all the little bits and pieces from all my little scrap projects than it did for to sew it all together. Okay, there we go. Now, we're going to press this way. There we go. Now, here's what it looks like from the back. So all of that, now this should have been pressed the other way, but you know, it's a thicker, this Jan Kingwell fabric is a little bit thicker, so it's nice. It's not going to show through. The red's not going to show through. But if you had thinner, low volume, then you would, you know. So I'm going to take this now off to the ironing board, give it a really nice press, but I want to show you the other blocks. Now, the other blocks I made, okay, the other blocks I made a 8.5 inch block. Now the cutting instructions for that 8.5 inch block are in the show notes below, as well as the 6.5 inch block. And this is the block size I use for the quilt behind me. Now you could play around with these and, you know, 8.5, and then you could make even a smaller block if you wanted to do the math, or you could do 3 of these to 2 of these, you know, these larger blocks, and you would have, you'd be able to play around with them and make, smaller cats and bigger cats and all the rest of the stuff. So that's kind of another option too. But let's get to our ta-da moment. Okay, here's our cat block. Now this one is 12.5 inches unfinished, which would finish at 12 inches in a quilt. Now this, like you say, you can switch it so that your head is on this side and this part is on this side if you wanted. I did all my cats here the same way just because it was faster, and I had cut a whole stack, and it took me longer to do the cutting for this than it actually did the sewing. So this is just such a little cute little cat block. Very simple, very beginner friendly. And like I say too, I have it in 8.5 size and the 6.5 size. So depending on the size of your scraps that you have, you would pick whichever size that you're going to get the most of your scraps from. Now somebody also asked me, how do I pick my low volumes, right? So my color here is red, right? So my low volume, I'll try and pick a low volume with a little bit of red. Now this is a Jen Kingwell's red, her low volumes, and I think these are just perfectly blended for, let's say a solid, right? Because I have pinks that are very similar to the solid, and I have greens that are very similar to the green. I try and pick my low volumes that way, but you don't have to. You can pick whatever you want to throw into a block. And I have some blocks here that have got nothing to do with the low volume. Like the print has absolutely nothing to do with the low volume. And it still looks like a good block. So it's whatever you have on hand. Play with it and have fun. Okay, until we see each other again, I hope you have an absolutely fabulous week ahead. Okay, take care. All right, bye. My husband and I would love to thank you for watching our video and being so supportive of our channel. This has been just such an amazing journey we're on here on YouTube, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without you. So our thanks, truly our thanks for you. If there's anything you need, don't be afraid to contact me either through the Facebook book or through email. I'm trying to do as many viewer request videos as possible, and if I don't do it, you need to remind me, okay? So that's not a problem. But yes, it's been just absolutely amazing. Make sure you tell your gills I speak for free. We have a Facebook group. We do Zoom sew dates, and we give out nothing but free patterns. So I hope that you have an absolutely joyful year ahead, and your sewing room, everything is going for you, and life is great. Okay, you take care until we see each other again. Okay, bye.